Hi, I'm Kim Borcherding, real estate agent here in Oregon. I've been a realtor for the past 12 years, and I love sharing all the things I've learned over the years. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the best time to buy a house. Now, I have a very specific answer that I say all the time. When clients ask me, when's the best time to buy a house? I say, when it makes sense for you. So what does that mean? Let me clarify a few important points. So, number one, when you might have a life transition coming up where it may make sense for you to make a move. For example, perhaps you're getting divorced, perhaps you're getting married, and perhaps you have a growing family, perhaps you're having your grandparents move in with you to care for them. So there are some life transitions that often require making a move in your home. Another big life transition is job relocation. So that's a big one that forces a lot of moves. So perhaps you're moving for a job and you need to relocate. Well, great, that makes sense. So that's my number one answer. When you have a life transition that requires a move, that's the best time to move. Number two, when your finances are in order. So if you're fortunate enough to pay cash and you have the money available, great. But most people don't pay cash. Most people have to finance it. And that requires that they have stable employment. So typically 2 years of stable employment. They have income to qualify. So if you're getting financing, you're going to have to be pre-approved with a lender or mortgage broker so that your financing is in order so you can qualify for the loan. You have your down payment available. So how much do you need? A lot of people think you need 20, and that's not true. Depending on the loan program, and a great mortgage professional will help advise you on loan programs. But as those 3.5%, 5, 10, 20, to be honest, most of my clients don't put 20% down, though a lot of people think that. And again, a great mortgage professional will help you figure that out. But when you have down payment available, and then you'll need closing costs, money for inspections as well. So you simply have your funds available. You're qualified and you have stable employment. That's the number two big bucket of when it makes sense to move. And number three, I always say, is when you have the time to move. So actually relocating and making a move takes a lot of effort and energy and time. So you actually have to have that available in your schedule. Now, many of us have careers and responsibilities and families, so there might be a better time than others when you have time to take a part-time job. So for example, doing the research of where you want to move, that takes effort and energy and time. Number two, actually going to look at houses, that takes a lot of time. Now we might find the perfect house on the first week, but often that's not the case. So we might be looking at houses for a few months, 6 months, and we need to have available time. And when I'm like, hey, great house, we need to go now, we need to go within the next day or two or that weekend. And then of course there's the part of writing the offer and strategy and inspections and negotiations and moving out of your old place. But that just takes time. So simply you need to have the time. So if you have a really busy season, for example, if you're an accountant, not a good time to move would probably be January to mid-April. That's a really busy time for you at work. So think about when you actually have the time to move. The next big bucket of when it makes sense to move, I often say, particularly if you are a parent and you have children, is when it makes sense for your children. So I do recommend, if you can, move during breaks in school. And now often people think summer break. Yes, that's an obvious one, moving during the summer, but also any break would work. So a great time to transition, and this is what I've learned from helping hundreds of families move, is during a spring break, a winter break, just so when you come, there's a break in school so you can pull them out of their old school and then re-immerse them in a new school after the break. That tends to be a really good time. And then the next big bucket, when's the best time to move? It's simply when you find the right property. Let me tell you, I'm super picky about the properties that I personally buy and that I help my clients buy. And sometimes it just takes time and you can't really time it. So I do advise starting the process way in advance. So if you think you want to move in 6 months, start a year from now. So building a plan, getting clear on the area you want to be, and then we start to look at properties, because the perfect house might show up in 1 month or it might show up in 6 months. And I don't want you to be rushed. I don't want you to be pressed to make a rushed decision on that property. So if you want a great house in a great neighborhood that fits all your needs and wants, let's make sure we have plenty of time to do that. So sometimes you just can't time it. And when the right house shows up, that's when you make the move. So my goal is simply to be a resource to you. If you're thinking about moving to Oregon or from Oregon and you think I might be of assistance, please feel free to reach out to me. You'll find my contact information in the description below. And be sure to subscribe to my channel to be updated about future episodes.